This video will be a bit different, mainly because I think some of you know and have heard me say in the past that I'm very interested in Hinduism. One of the reasons I'm interested in Hinduism is because as part of my own paganism and desire to understand my Indo-European origins better, because India was never really Christianized, although it was heavily affected by Islam and Jihad, the Hindus, or the Vedic cultures of the Indian continent, are pretty much a clean conduit back to what our pagan ancestors in Europe may have been, as they both come from a common Indo-European root. A very great interest in Hinduism and the Vedic scriptures. I think there's a lexicon there that is really useful in terms of people, pagans in Europe such as us, deciphering the mysteries on the lost sections or the parts that have been edited out by Christians of our true pagan pasts, beliefs, traditions, associations. Aside from that, I was watching some videos recently about, it was just like some universities in America where people were teaching about the Bhagavad Gita and the Mahabharata and so on, and the comment section was flooded American liberals and social justice warriors saying that all Hinduism needs to be discounted and not taught in universities and not pushed in any way because it has the caste system. Now, the caste system to Europeans and particularly to Christians may seem very horrific. A lot of it has to do with the fact that it's never been properly explained. And it's also viewed from the context of a Christian who believes that all men are created equal. In Islam, and one of the reasons Islam has been so successful in the Indian subcontinent, is that many of the conversions were not always forced by the sword. Most were, but not all. Many have also been Hindus who are sick of their position within the caste system, particularly at the bottom, being attracted towards Islam because of the equality within it. Now, there's another huge misunderstanding there. All men are equal in Islam as long as they're Muslims, and that's always forgotten. A non-Muslim is not considered equal to an Islamic person according to their own text. So that's another myth that has to be dealt with. You're only equal in Islam if you are a Muslim. Now, to understand the whole idea of the caste system better, India is a very complex and very large nation, and it was divided into many regions, or Rajas, R-A-J, that were unified under the British about 150 years ago. Most of this was done in the same way the Roman Empire and the Christians unified Europe, by bribing kings and princes and the leaders of local communities, and then giving them sweeteners to bring them into the British Empire. There was very little war relatively compared to what the British had to deal with, say, in Ireland and other places. Although there was conflict, but it wasn't continuous. India was a very wealthy and a very successful society before the British arrived. This is one of the problems of the British Empire. I'm not knocking English people or British people. I'm talking about the empire here. There was even British travellers in India who said there's not a single poor or starving person in this vast nation, and that would have included the so-called untouchables. It was when the British took control, just like they did in the British imperial structure took control, just like they did in the Middle East. They turned Muslims against Christians, against Jews, just like they did in Ireland. They flooded the country full of planters, Presbyterians, and caused sectarian conflict. The classic divide and conquer system that made the British Empire what it was. Now, until the British arrived, the caste system was managed quite well. As I said, British writers themselves actually said that India had no starving people, or no people of extreme poverty. They were much better off than Europeans, their poor people. The British deliberately weaponized the caste system in order to create social conflict within Hindu communities as a means of keeping control. Now remember that it was some Rajas the untouchables were treated better. Other Rajas, they were not treated so well. So it's not a black and white issue. Now, the idea of the caste system comes from this belief that not all people are created equal, and not all people are equal as they live in this world, and some are absolute evil or scum people. That is a shocking idea to a Christian, where everyone is seen as a sinner who can find redemption. That's not, true finding God. You also get that in Islam. In Hinduism, that's not how it works at all. You have to actually work upon something called your dharma. Now, what your dharma is your purpose in life. Now, if you were born into a situation where it was not so good or it was great, regardless, you have an obligation through Hinduism to work upon your dharma. And your dharma is how you conduct your life in terms of bettering yourself as a person. Under Hinduism, all untouchables can find social mobility through working on their dharma. Caste system, upon Indian independence, were given political representation in the Indian Parliament, which is the world's largest democracy, and quite a successful democracy, it has to be said. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's not run by a central idea, because of Hinduism. Hinduism doesn't have a central text or canon like the Ten Commandments, and therefore there's no one powerful God. And that's actually been quite healthy in how they conduct their democracy. There's corruption just like everywhere else. It seems like a brutal system at times, but actually Hinduism is more in tune with humanity and nature than Abrahamic religions, and to tell you that everything's like okay if you worship a certain god. In Hinduism, you're told it won't be okay. You have to work on it. Now, there's two aspects to the caste system. You can improve yourself, and this is never, Westerners are never told this, that people of a lower caste can actually improve their lot in life. And how they do it is two processes. One is called Varna. Varna is the personal process towards improving your dharma, your status in life. Varna is about you as a person. Now, Varna would include things like, if you're talented, you should use your talent as a means to progress through society. And if you don't use your talent, it's considered a waste of your talent. So your actual sense of caste in the religious sense can go down, and say if you were a gifted musician and you ended up becoming a drug addict or an alcoholic, you have gone into negative Varna because you're not following your dharma. Okay? Understand? Your purpose in life. On top of that, it's just like a twofold thing. Along with that, you also have something called jati. Jati. And jati is a system of social self-help and a communal thing. In India, it's expressed in things like trade unions, army widows welfare, cooperative systems. In India, and particularly in rural India, the cooperative system is fantastically successful, and it really does help farmers in rural areas. And that comes directly from the system of jati. It comes from the idea that there is not only a personal route to personal improvement, to successfully fulfilling your dharma through Varna as your personal path, but also jati as your social path. This is you being good to yourself and living up to your dharma, and this is you helping the dharma of society by helping others. The two work together and allow you to move up along the caste system. And in a belief that in a later incarnation of your life, remember, in Hinduism, reincarnation is central to their beliefs. So it's not just this one life where you have a chance to please Jesus or please Allah, and if you fail you go into damnation. You're given multiple chances through various lives to fulfill your dharma, both through Varna and jati. Now, this is not so black and white after all. It doesn't mean like that people are born into a certain colour. No, it's the British actually who weaponized the idea that darker skinned people were of a lower caste. That certainly didn't exist among the Tamils in Sri Lanka and southern India, who are like as dark as African people. So that's what the caste system really is. And it's one more thing of these social justice warriors and these idiots who go to college bullying and distorting things they don't understand. At the same time, while they're going out and they're not Muslims, but they're wearing scarves to prove they have solidarity with Islamic women, while at the same time they don't do anything for women activists in Saudi Arabia who are being beheaded for something as stupid as like wanting their freedom. So I'm making a prediction here. In the next few years, you're going to hear more of these social justice warriors and all these types, activists, and particularly lefties, going after Hindus and going after Hinduism, and particularly making reference to the caste system. Show them this video and remind them it's only because they come from an Abrahamic society, which is also where communism comes from, that they have this belief that everybody is perfect and wonderful. In fact, my friends, quite a lot of people are scum, and it's up to them to work on their dharma and not the rest of us to carry them towards their own salvation. And that's the difference between the caste system and Christian ideas of redemption. Thank you. If you like this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, and also make sure to click on the notification bell to make sure you get all the latest videos from this channel. Thank you.